Dr. John Molina, I've been writing on all of my pages, so Dr. John Molina is the Chief Executive Officer for Phoenix Indian Medical Center in Phoenix. Prior to this appointment, he was the Medical Director and Assistant Director for the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, which we also know as ACCESS. He is also founder of Las Fuentes Health Clinic, a non-profit health center in his hometown of Guadalupe, Arizona. His academic interest is in Indian healthcare law and policy, healthcare disparities, and patient-centered medicine. Dr. Molina has published numerous articles, medical articles, related to the integration of culture and medicine, and has been the recipient of numerous leadership awards. And he's also received an honorary degree as Doctor of Humane Letters for his outstanding humanitarian work. Please help me welcome Dr. John Molina.
Thank you all very kindly. Yo soy John Molina. My father is John Molina, Pascoyaqui Indian, and my mother is Maria Ward, San Carlos Apache. I'm very honored and proud to be here with you to share in the creation story of our native people, the first people of the Americas. And in sharing that, I just want to begin by saying that what I share with you is really a sort of a generalized view on the creation story of Indian people in the Americas. Right now, there's over 560 federally recognized tribes throughout the United States. And each one of those tribes carries their own unique creation story. But in general, I'll share with you in terms of how Native people look at the world, creation, and the purpose that we have here in this world. To begin with, most Indian tribes and most Indian people believe in what we call the Great Spirit, the Creator. There was never a concept of a God. This is a westernized concept that was brought in by Europeans. But all American Indians recognized that there was one Great Spirit that created all things. Among our Lakota people, they referred that to as Passawatam, who is a Great Spirit and has created all things. The Great Spirit created what we see now, the sky, all the elements of the sky, which is the sun and the stars and the moon, and created the earth. Our native people have referred to these elements as Father Sky and Mother Earth. The Father Sky is what provides all the nourishing elements to bring upon Mother Earth, to create what's on the earth. And out of Mother Earth is what we see as creation. Again, the Great Spirit formed the mountains and all the rocks and everything that we see. Then out of the womb of Mother Earth, the very center of our earth, Mother Earth, creates all the other elements that we see, the plants and the animals and the waters. In the waters that we see, the rivers and the oceans of the earth are what we refer to as the veins of Mother Earth. And it's interesting for those of you who fly a lot, as you look over the terrain of the earth, as you look down, you'll see all the rivers that run like tributaries, almost like the veins of the human anatomy of who we are. And the people that were created came out of what we call the womb of Mother Earth. Almost all creation stories talk about their people and their clans coming out, climbing out of the earth, climbing out of the caves, because this is where the Great Spirit created us as human beings. So we walked on this earth and became part of the earth. And the concept of who we are really represents that we're connected to the earth, and we depend on the earth. We depend on the elements of the plants and the fruits and the vegetables and the animals to supply the needs that we have. So this Great Spirit gave us all that we need to survive on this earth. The recognition that we gave to the Great Spirit is to protect Mother Earth, to be resourceful, and to live a simple life. When the Europeans first came to the Americas, they kind of saw Indian people, or Native people, as being very simplistic, almost very primitive. We lived in small shelters and teepees and hogans and teepees and the wickiups. These were very simple structures. because we believed that our life was to be simple. There was no need to gain the advantage of Mother Earth to construct big fancy buildings or big edifices or temples, because this was what Mother Earth gave to us in our Great Spirit to be able to enjoy and to protect. So our Indian people lived a very simple life, and they moved with the seasons. They moved where they needed to be in order to be protected. They hunted the buffalo and the animal with sacredness. We didn't take advantage of hunting for gain or for pecuniary gain or for materialism. We hunted for what we needed, and that's all we needed. Even the plants that we gathered for our medicines, we gathered in a very sacred way and gave thanks to the Great Spirit for giving us the plants and the animals to feed us and to nourish us and to take care of us. And we never took more than we need, and we never took advantage of Mother Earth. And this was a way of life for our people, and lived for centuries, for many centuries here on the earth. But beyond that, there was also the way that we saw us in place of this earth, that we needed to live a life of balance. In order to live fulfilled life, we needed to live a balanced life. So we looked at life in a very holistic way: mind, body, spirit, and family. And that's how our life ourselves is governed. And we believe that all those essences of us, the mind, body, spirit, and family, have to be in balance in order for us to be fulfilled and happy. In other words, we have to have good ways of thinking, respect and value, not be angry, and not be in a way adversive to other people. We respect our mind by learning and growing. We respect our body by giving attention to our body, and respect our clans and families by living in good relationships in harmony with the environment. So it's really all about living a life of harmony on this earth. So when our medicine people take care of us, or we get sick, we find that maybe there's one part of that element that's not in balance. It could be our mind, our emotions, our body, our family, our spiritual life could be not in balance. And that's why we use the medicine people to help us bring us back into that balance. And the medicine will do that. Our people will do that by using ceremonies and herbs to bring us back into that balance. And the spirituality that we have is not a religion, and we never characterize it as a religion. Again, it was always acknowledging the Creator, the Great Spirit, the Vakitanka, who gave us what we need, and we need to communicate that within ourselves and bring it back into balance, and that's again down to a ceremony. One of the ceremonies that you see done a lot is the sweat lodge, the nipis. And what we do there is we go into the sweat lodge with the idea of getting balanced again, cleansing our life, because when we're in this world, we get exposed to a lot of distractions, to a lot of evil spirits and energies that we need to cleanse ourselves from. And walking into the nipi or into the sweat lodge, it's like going back into the womb of Mother Earth again. We walk into that womb again to be cleansed. And the healing rocks that we use in the steam is a connection to our ancestors to guide us back into the right path again. So when we leave the nipi, when we leave the sweat lodge, we're regenerated, we're renewed, and again, we're refreshed to go back into the world. And one of the final things I just want to share with you is that, again, we look at life as not only a balance, but a circle. It's a complete circle that we live. And we look at the four directions as being important: the north, the east, the south, and the west. And in general, what happens is we're born out of the north. We come in as young fetuses, as children, as infants, and we begin to make the circle of life as we begin to move around, the east and the south and the west. And finally, as we end our days, we go back to the north and go back into Mother Earth again as our life comes to an end. But for us, it's all about not living a life of selfishness. It's more a life of giving. It's more a life of growth and wisdom. So the circle of life really takes us not to gain, not to gain materialistic treasures. It's not to gain academic goals. Our life is to grow as human beings, as spiritual beings, and ultimately to give back to our people. So the life that I'm living right now is really for the life of my children. The wisdom that I can give back, what I've learned, experiences, good and bad experiences, is finally to come back, and when my life ends, I walk back into Mother Earth, back to where I came from.
Thank you. So thank you, Dr. Molina. And briefly to recap, what I heard was there are over 650 federally recognized tribes. Each might have a different creation story, but the common theme, that bonds them all together is that most believe in a great spirit who created all things. And that great spirit, that we came out of the earth, is the belief that we came out and in the end return into that. And that also going into a sweat lodge is very nurturing and puts in balance, and also like going back into the earth. And that there is a very fundamental belief of not taking more than is needed, and also living a very balanced life, and that the goal of the life is not to be selfless in a sense, to serve others, in fact, as you are doing so beautifully in your humanitarian work, and a theme of which we heard, to really bring love, joy, and happiness to others and to give back. So wonderful. Now, it is your turn. Perhaps you have some questions for some of our panelists. And I just have a little housekeeping, and that is to be able to keep the questions very respectful and honoring, because our panelists may believe very differently than you do. But this is for us to learn and to gain insight so that we can also go out in the community and be loving and educational and supportive to others. So who has a question for any of our panelists today?
It's Dr. Molina, right?
Yes, Molina.
Yes, I'm right here.
Yeah, hi.
I have a question. When you said when you passed on, you would return to Earth. Is there a spirit world?
Good. Yes.
Sorry. Thank you.
The question was, when we pass on and go back to the earth, is there a spirit world? For most tribes there is, and I'll speak specifically to my tribe, the Pasquayaki tribe, and we believe in the spirit world that we call Sewausi, which is really what we call the flower world. And the flower world is where we go back again when we pass on. And there, the flower world, again, it's not characterized so much as a heaven, but as a place where we meet up with our ancestors again. We don't believe like in a heaven or hell, you know, at least in the concept of, or you know, in a religious sense. But we do believe that everyone goes back to the flower world. And the flower world is represented among the Yaqui culture as the rose, the roses. That within the flower world, you'll see that. So among the Yaqui culture, when you see the roses represented, that's what it's supposed to represent, also the flower world. Thank you.
Who else has some questions today, or a question? Ron.
Yes, hello. We heard that like in Jainism we have liberation, you know, you're ultimately finding a place where you won't have to reincarnate. Is there anything like that in Native Americans? Is there reincarnational kind of belief or coming back again after death? And I'm not sure about the other
So you'd like to hear from all
Yes.
our panelists?
Yeah. Well, I'll speak to the reincarnation. No, among Native culture, there is no concept of reincarnation. What it is mostly is that we has come into this world as individuals, and the whole idea of being on this world was, one, is to give back, but also to grow in wisdom. You know, and that growth in the wisdom comes in different ways. You know, it can come in different ways that we experience life events, the life events that we experience, either disease, emotional, or otherwise. And it's through these life events that we go through the circle that we gain that wisdom. So that when you get into your later years, like myself, and like myself older, then what happens is we're supposed to give that wisdom back again to our people, and then we go on into the flower world.
Thank you.
Well, in Zoroastrianism, I guess there was the only one guy who had a second chance, and that was Gayomar, the first man, if you remember, whose bones leached and the human race came from it. We do not believe in reincarnation, but there is an afterlife. Our actions are the choices we make, choices between good and evil. That's the dualism we talk about. Arivan is constantly provoking us, attempting to trick us, to deceive us, to trip us into acts which would bar us from going to heaven. Interestingly, I remember a phrase which was used whenever somebody passed away. The phrase was "Kodayosh Be'amardan," meaning may he or she return to God. And so it's your actions which justify whether you go to heaven or you go to hell, but you don't get a second shot.
In Buddhist tradition, we believe on the reincarnation. And reincarnation, I think there is two different types. One is reincarnate through your own karma. It forced to reincarnate by the karma. Then another is you reincarnate through your own choice. So the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who are totally enlightened, they reincarnate by their choice to help the sentient beings and the suffering to eliminate and overcome the suffering, and to help more sentient beings, to welfare of the sentient beings. And that's we believe. So by the, we all reincarnate, but not by our choice. We just we have a certain good virtues, then we have some certain negative karma. So those will bring us to the life again, whether we born in human life or in other ranks. So that is the we believe on the reincarnate. And then other thing is, so I will just add that in my talk I didn't mention about the. Actually, I talk about how the create the world creation. I talk, and we same as I think Jainism, and we believe that the world creation and everything is through our own karma, not by the God created. So that's why I think many Buddhist sutra and texts, it says that means all the environment and the beings comes from the karma, not from the Brahma or not from the gods or But I really respect other faith that who explain and talk about the everything's created by God, which is very strong message. When we through that, I think all the human beings and to listen to God, and through that what the main thing is, it's really connecting to the God who teach and show that all the in this world to be love, compassion, and these are every the faith and religion, they talk about that. So so in that sense, I think it will help to more to implement, to more in practice, because I think that's the I think there is a that's why even in Buddhists not believe on the creator God, but really I personally respect on that idea and that what you call ideology of the the God created